Well, more than 730,000 travellers passed through South Africa's ports of entry and exit in June. This includes arrivals, departures and travellers in transit. That's according to data from Statistics South Africa. When comparing movements in May this year and in May and June this year, the data indicates that the volume of arrivals decreased for South African residents and foreign travellers, while departures and travellers in transit increased for both groups of travellers. Travellers from all regions were represented, with groups from overseas, the SADC countries and other African countries. The data shows 92% of tourists were in South Africa for holiday, 6.8% were in the country for business, study and for medical treatment. The monthly statistical release provides information on South African residents and foreign travellers who entered or left South Africa in June 2021. The KwaZulu-Natal Tourism Department has opened the second phase of the 20 million rand Tourism Relief Fund applications today. Just more than 800,000 rand was distributed to help businesses and tour guides during the first phase. Joined now by the KwaZulu-Natal MEC for Tourism and Economic Development, Ravi Pillay. MEC, good evening to you and thank you for your time. How does this fund work? MEC, I don't know if you were able to hear me. My question was, how does the fund work?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me. The applications for it yesterday, and we'll let it run until the 29th of October for applications to come in. It's part of the efforts to mitigate, of course, the impact of COVID-19 in the main. And we had about 600 businesses that got the benefit of the national fund last year, but there was still obviously a demand, and so we were able to adjust some of our budgets and found about 20 million rand to direct towards this particular sector. We had a first...
Go on.
So we had a first phase on it, but the qualifying criteria were perhaps a little bit too onerous, and there were very few that qualified. So we've relaxed some of the criteria now, and we're hoping to impact on a further 370 odd enterprises.
What do people need to do to qualify? I mean, what kind of company, what kind of individual in the sector actually qualifies?
Well, we're obviously looking at the tourism sector. We want to, and in the main, the SMME sector. We've got a threshold of 10 million rand turnover, which might on the face of it seem a bit large. But one of the reasons we went that route was because of the low take-up on the first round. But it's from your accommodation establishments, your B&Bs, your hospitality-related industries, it's restaurants that are attached to hotels, for example, but not hotels themselves. The travel and related services, tour operators, travel agents, tourist guides, shuttle services, coach operators. Then for us in KZN, what is called the MICE is a big thing. That's the meetings, incentives, conference and exhibitions, and all those value chain associated with them, such as conference organizers and exhibition companies. Then right down to rickshaw operators, which we are very famous for on our beachfront. Arts and crafts cooperatives linked to the tourist industries, traditional performance groups associated with the industry. So the entire value chain associated with the tourism industry. How
much money can each organization get? And I ask this because, I mean, in the tourism sector, we had a graph on our screens just yesterday that, no one really in the tourism sector has gone above 50% occupancy in the last 18 months. So, they're in a very difficult position. Roughly, what's the maximum that each organization or each individual can apply for?
Yeah, look, it's that's why we said, we're targeting the SMME sector. It's capped at just 50,000 rand, but that's intended to reinforce the other relief measures like your TERS schemes and so on, which national government has implemented. So the direct answer to your question is it's capped at 50,000 rand.
Do you believe you'll have enough money for all of the organizations that will need help? I would think after this time, people are desperate for money.
Well, we are hoping to, together with the first round last year and the first phase of this round, we're hoping to benefit just over 1,000 entities. So I think that's significant. Unlikely entities is a reasonable effort, we think.
Ravi Pillay, thank you very much indeed. The MEC in KwaZulu-Natal for Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs. I do appreciate the time.